Hi everybody, we are getting started. We're going to give it just a minute to let people hop on here. We're excited to get it started. We're starting with the Soul Full of Sunshine class. Patsy's going to give a welcome here in just a second. And then we'll get going. Hi everybody. Tammy from Texas. They're already saying train. We will start off with a couple train prices because we did start when there was a train going by.
We sure did.
Give us a second here and we'll get...
I don't even hear it anymore.
Hi Amy from Seattle. Let us know where you're watching from, everybody. Gail from Florida. Oh man, that's a long train. And a loud one to start the show. So I guess we'll start with some train prices here in a second. We'll do a quick welcome and then we will draw some train prices. All right, we're going to get started.
Hi everybody, and welcome to our private reserve online 2025. I cannot believe it's been this many years that we've been doing this. I would say 15 for the private reserves, and we've been doing quick quotes for like 23 years, something like that. Am I close, Stacy?
Yep, 23.
So anyway, we are super excited to bring all this to you online. We have a busy weekend for you. We're going to start out a little bit slow here today, so get you all prepared for tomorrow. We're going to do the Soul Full of Sunshine class first, which is the kit that you got because you chose to do the online class. The ones at the events, the personal events, we didn't do that. So we're just giving you that just to give you something a little bit extra for staying home and watching us online. And then right after that, we will do the 4-page family kit. And we have prizes all weekend. And that train is really long. It doesn't usually go on that long.
And if you don't know, if you've never done one of our live events, our Facebook live events, we give away prizes every time the train goes by.
Right. So if we haven't said that, it's because we don't really hear it anymore, except when it's really loud like that. So anyway, just a brief rundown and welcoming you to today and tomorrow and Sunday. We'll probably do grand prizes around 1 o'clock on Sunday, and then that way you have the rest of Sunday to finish up everything that you didn't get finished throughout the weekend. And what do you have, Stace?
One thing I want to mention is if for some reason we lose you or this drops and we lose the video, just know that we are working to get back on. So just hit refresh until you see a live video again. That very rarely happens. But if for some reason we lose you, just hit refresh on our Facebook page and we should be right back up at the top again. I think that's...
And just know that... sometimes if we don't get answer your question right away, it takes a little bit of time to catch up for our event to catch up on the computer, so it's a little bit delayed. So we will try to get all the questions answered, and if you have any issues or questions or I'm going too fast, just let us know and we'll go back and make it work, hopefully make it work for everybody. I will tell you there are 3 kinds of scrapbookers, and there are those who are sitting waiting for the next step and they're all done and they probably have pictures in their on their pages. There are those that are just getting things punched out and it's not going quite as smoothly for you. And then there are those like me who keep elbowing your neighbor saying, what'd she say, what'd she say, what'd she say? So if you get to that point, let us know and I'll try to slow it down just a little bit. But we are ready for a fun weekend, so I say let's get started.
All right, and if for some reason you are finding yourself elbowing your neighbor and getting behind, don't stress about it because we will keep these videos up. Even when Facebook takes them down, we will have them on YouTube for you to follow. So
right. And
if you need to just take a break, then you can.
The goals for the weekend are on the album classes. There's always 4 pages in one kit. and we will work on 1 and 2. That's how we've always done it. It makes things go a little bit smoother, and then we give you a little time in between to finish those up and start on 3 and 4 if you choose to. But also keep in mind that we are usually done about 5 o'clock Pacific time on Saturday, and that gives you the rest of the evening to pull everything else together. So we're ready.
All right.
I hope you're ready.
We'll get set up for this first class. So get your kit out, the Soulful Sunshine. And I'm going to try to do this smoothly without making you sick moving this around. I'll get Patsy set up here. And if anybody has any questions throughout this, just let us know. We are actually going to start here in just a minute. I will grab the the door prize stuff, because we need to give away train prizes for that long train that just went away. Let me get you set up and then we'll do that. And for those of you that have joined us before, thank you for being here. And for everyone else that is new, we hope you enjoy it. And honestly, ask any questions and we'll try to keep everybody on the same page.
So I'm going to give Stacy a minute here till she gets it all up on her screen over there so we can be ready to answer any questions. But we're going to work on this one here that says Soulful of Sunshine. So go ahead, and I'm sure some of you have already put this one entirely together, those of you who couldn't wait, but good for you. That's one less thing I have to help you do. Okay, it looks like we're ready to go. You good over there, Stace?
I think so. I'll get you, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of cutting here, so get your trimmer out. And if for some reason you have lost track of how to cut or the dimensions, always in the top left corner of our written part of our instructions are always the dimensions for cutting directions, or if there's a diagram, it'll tell you that. Also, it tells you what sizes to cut the ribbons and that kind of thing. So if you get lost, it's right here. But I will say the very first thing we are going to cut, and you have a diagram at the bottom of your page. It's the dark blue paper with the white dots. It's a half a sheet, 6 by 12 blue dot paper. So get that out, and we're going to cut that using this diagram in the very beginning. So this is what will look like once you get things trimmed out. So take a minute here and go ahead and cut that out. You'll end up with a 4.5 by 4.5, another 4.5 by 4.5, and these are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And these are just little tabs that, as a decoration that will end up here. I'll show you where they end up here. So once you get them cut out by 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, you're going to use a corner rounder, round the corners on at least one side of these, because as you can see, the other side's tucked down underneath. And then you have 2 strips that are a 1/2 inch by 11 inches. So take a minute and get that trimmed out. And again, your diagram is right here at the bottom of your instruction sheet. And that one shouldn't take too long to get trimmed out. So it'll end up looking like this.
Okay, so while you're trimming, we're going to give away our first train prizes. Since we
Yay,
had a long
train prize!
So the way that the prizes work, your name is put in here if you ordered an event bundle online. If you ordered 2 or 3 event bundles and there's a bunch of you all together and you were the one that ordered them, then that means your name is in here 3 times. So you may want to give, so if Patsy ordered 3 kits, her name's going to be in here 3 times. So you might want to give Patsy 1, Patsy 2, Patsy 3, everybody a number so you know who wins.
Or if you want to put your name on all of them and you want to win all of them, that's up to you.
Too.
Doesn't make you any friends, but it's up to you.
But we have everybody in this door prize drawing, and you can see.
Okay, just 1. You want 2?
Let's do 3 to start it
3.
off.
Okay, here's 1. Go ahead. Let's announce this one. Christy Dillon, you are our very first train prize winner.
Our
Oh, I got
train's
my
upside
train
down.
upside down. Okay, Christy, we will be sending out prizes, and you don't
have to send us any information or anything. We save these and we will send it to your address that we have on file. So if we say your name, you don't have to email us or anything. We'll just automatically send you out a prize.
Okay, and who else is the winner? Our very second winner of the day is Denise Burkett. Denise, you are our second winner. And one more for now. Maureen Miller, you are the third winner of the day. So keep in mind that we will just mail those to you, and the next time the train goes by, we'll be drawing some more names. So, okay, you should probably have this pretty much cut out by now. I'm going to move this aside. And we're going to cut 2 yellow dot papers. Okay, we have 2 identical. We're going to trim them down to an 11 by 11. So I'll cut those labels off. We want to make sure and get rid of the labels. So I'm going to cut 1 inch off the bottom and 1 inch off the right. And that's 2 separate sheets until you end up with an 11 by 11 on both sheets. Trim these both down till you get to 11 by 11. Okay, and then while you're cutting out, I'm just going to explain this little piece here. This is your little embellishment sheet, and basically you're just going to cut these 2 pieces out, the journaling piece and the Soul Full of Sunshine. And then on the one that talks about the May the Days Come Easy, you can see beyond that there is just a little bit of a floral border, a very light border. We're going to cut that off. So what you want to end up is 2 strips with the words on white paper only, and you can kind of see that on your picture on your instruction sheet. So eventually we'll cut this out. We don't have to do it right now. I'm just explaining that ahead of time so you know to trim it out until you have white and turquoise only. Okay, now you have a couple of pieces of paper that are 1 inch wide, and actually you're going to have paper left over. These you want to cut down until you have a 1/4 inch by 11, and I think I'm going to cut it down to 11 inch right in the beginning. It's already 11 inches, so you don't have to worry about that. You're going to cut 2 pieces from each of these that are 1/4 inch, and yes, you will have some left over, and the reason is for the extra paper is just because it's really hard. You want to really hold it in place really well because sometimes this jumps around, and that's why we added this little bit of extra paper. So in case you get a miscut or it's not really straight, you can have more to cut. So the green paper, and on one side of the green is stripes, and then on one side of the pink is flowers. So both of those you want to trim down so that you have a 1/4 inch 2 times with both pieces. And then 1/2 inch you can toss if you want to, but you can hang on to it and use it somewhere else if you want. A lot of times I say in the beginning, and sometimes I forget, but right now I'm thinking of it, don't throw anything away until you're entirely done with your whole entire kit, because sometimes we use negatives and different pieces that you may have already thrown in the trash. I think too, while we're at it, while we're cutting, we can go ahead and do the ribbon. You're going to cut 2 pieces of ribbon, or 2 pieces into 2-inch pieces. So let's go ahead and do that and have that in all ready to go. So there's 2 inches, and it's kind of about 2 inches. You don't have to be absolutely perfect. And then so you'll have 2 pieces that are 2 inches, and then you'll have the remaining piece that we're going to add for page 2. So set those aside, and they're all ready to go. Okay, so our background for both pages is pink. And then we're going to locate our yellow 11-inch squares. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Powder Puff Chalk inks. Again, almost always at either on the front, right here, it'll do suggestions for Powder Puff inks and tell you the colors. Also back here at the top of the page, it also offers suggestions on Powder Puff Chalk inks. So you can see that there are lots and lots of colors in this particular kit. So there's going to be a lot of choices, but these are just our suggestions. We said sapphire, that's a really nice bright blue that looks like this. And turquoise, another bright blue. Citrine, that's one of last year's colors, and it looks like not that one. Looks like that. And brown jasper, and it looks like can you see if you can find me a brown jasper out of here, Stace? Pretty sure there was one. If not, I need to get one. So any or all of these colors are perfect. But if you have something else, like let's say desert sun, that would be really nice. Some of the blues, you could use some of the aquas, turquoises. We did say turquoise, so that one would work really well. Baja blue is always a good one. You can use it almost anywhere. And here's your brown jasper. So look at those colors. Those are perfect for this particular page. And if you want to try something different, we welcome that, because sometimes you find the best things by just trying something. So I think for the edges of this yellow paper, the citrine would be really pretty. So let's give it a try. And there's lots of ways you can do this. If you have never used chalk inks before, everybody does it just a little bit different, so there is no right or wrong way. What I like to do, if I have a long straight edge, I have this box or a table, like you can pull it to the edge of your workspace, add your paper right to the edge, and you have this nice solid space at the bottom, and just run your chalk across it a couple of times and it's done. So I really, really like to use it this way. It's real fast, it's smooth, just a couple of swipes and you can turn it and done. But if you choose to do it the traditional way, and this is what most people do, is this or this. Just like you're coloring in some color. So the citrine looks really good on this, so let's go ahead and give it a whirl. Chalk up the edges of your yellow paper, your yellow dot paper. And if you don't have a box edge, most of the time I just pull this to the edge of my workspace, my work table. But I usually stand up when I'm designing all these, just because I like to look down on it. I have a harder time seeing things in the right perspective if I'm sitting down, so I do a lot of standing. And usually at crops, I see one other person or two other people standing, because it just works better for you. So that's citrine on the edges. You can also add some color to the pink. I don't always add color to the background page, but this is a good spot to do it if you want to try some maybe of the brighter pinks. So once you get those chalked up a little bit. Let's just add a little adhesive. And I'm just doing little bits of adhesive because mine is a sample. Yours is permanent, so just know that when you see me just adding a tiny bit of adhesive, usually mine are worn, my samples are worn out before they go anywhere because they've been carted around so many times. But again, this one hasn't been to any of the regular private reserves because this one's special for you. So let's go ahead and get those yellow backgrounds. Onto our pink backgrounds. And then you have some die cuts. You have a white die cut, and let's take a minute and punch out these die cuts. There's some blue mats, you have white mats. Let's get all these things punched out from the laser die cut. And keep in mind, this one right here is one you're going to want to save all the pieces from because most of them you're going to use. This white piece will be used as a mat also, so hang on to that. Set everything aside, don't throw anything away just yet. And this I will throw away because we don't need that. And let's go ahead and punch out all the die cuts from our blue paper. And the only thing you really don't have to punch out right here at the moment is the flowers, because those we will do at the very, very last. But we do need this circle, so let's make sure and get this circle out. And if you've already punched the flowers, great. If not, you don't have to have those right this minute. And some of these are, the notches are just a little bit big on it, so if take a little sandpaper or nail file, not nail file, but a nail, forget what you call them. And you can sand those off really quick if you want to. Okay, so once we get all these pieces punched, let's set everything aside. And then this is the circle that you're going to add to your page. And it's centered left to right, but it's about a half an inch, quarter to a half an inch from the top of the page. This is a good spot where you could, and circles are harder to chalk up, but you can add some turquoise to the edge of this one. It helps to really define it from the rest of your layout. So go ahead and add some color all the way around this one. And chalking does take a little bit of time, but sometimes it's so worth it in the end. It just makes your whole page pop once you're all done. Okay, and then once you get the outside, you can take your ink and just gently go around the inside, just catching the edge. And once you use these a while, if you have never used them, you'll have your own way to do it. Everybody does it just a little bit different. Some of them look very vintagey and some of them are really smooth. So that's up to you, however you want to do your chalking. But that's just a couple of ways that we do it. Okay, so you're going to add your circle. And it's about, I'd say, half an inch from the top of the page. and centered left to right. Okay, so now we're ready for some mats, and we're also going to use those two papers that we rounded the corners on, or if you haven't rounded them yet, this is the time to do that. These little pieces right here. If you look at your instruction sheet, you can see where those go. So now you're going to take two blue papers, looks like this, and they go on the coordinating white papers. And before you glue them down, this is another good spot to add some color. I'm going to, just to show you what this looks like, add some of the sapphire blue. I think it would be better on the page that has the dark blue with the dots, but I'm going to just show you what this looks like if you choose to add this. It's really dark, and it's actually pretty. It's actually really works really well. So if you want something a little darker than the turquoise, try this sapphire, but remember to just do it lightly to start with, because it's a color that is pretty bold, it's pretty bright, and it can get away from you really quick, which means you can't take it off, but you can add more. So just do a little at a time. And I kind of like that on the edges. It makes it really definite. A lot of times we do the corners just a little bit more than the edges. So use the color of your choice. Turquoise would be a nice one for this one, but also this is the sapphire, and that's kind of fun. Once you get some color on it, now you can also do the white. Sometimes we choose to chalk up the white, but other times when we want that real bright white, crisp outline, we just leave it alone because there's such a small edge here. If you end up chalking it, you've changed the color of the whole entire layout or the background, because that chalk ink is going to go in enough to change it. That's up to you. You can totally add some color to your white if you want to, but again, a lot of times we'll leave the white. Just leave it bright white. So here's the turquoise. So see, I did that right there and I don't like it, so I'm going to have to come back in and just keep blending it a little bit on the corners until you really don't see that little blurb that I made right there.
Karen said emery board.
Emery board, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Thank you, Karen. I'll be calling on you later for other words, okay? Words tend to elude me anymore. So do my kids' names. I forget my kids' names sometimes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add these to our white mats. And then here's probably the spot where you really, I don't know, I kind of like that sapphire on this one right here. These pieces right here, I am going to use the sapphire on because it just totally lends itself to that. See that color? That's pretty. So add some color all the way around. And you don't have to worry about the straight edge. I just did corner rounded 2 of the corners because that's all that's going to show. So add a little or a lot of your sapphire blue on both pieces. And then we're going to add a little adhesive, and these go in behind just for decoration. in behind each photo mat. Why in the world do they call it an emery board anyway? Now you got me going, Karen. What is the purpose? Now I need you to look it up. I want you to Google this and let me know why they have named that an emery board. Is it Emery that developed it? Is it Mr. Board that developed it? I don't get it. But you're so right, it's an emery board. Okay, once you get those on, these are ready to be glued down. And you just kind of take a look at your instruction sheet to see where those go. And I'm going to do mine right about here. Okay, we have that much done. Now we're going to need all those little strips. And we will be doing page 1 and page 2 exactly the same way. So if you're kind of speedy at scrapping, then you can do them both at the same time. If it takes you a little bit of time, then you can do one at a time and just know page 2 is exactly the same.
Brenda said, I think Mr. Emery was bored.
I think Mr. Emery was bored. I think that's a really good explanation. It's really dumb, but it's a good explanation. I love it. Thank you. Okay, so locate all your strips. And the very first one, we are going to have to cut this out right now because it needs to go on first, and that's this right here. So let's go ahead and use your trimmer, cut it out. You can just cut it out as long as it is because eventually you're going to have to trim it down to exactly 11 inches. So you want to make sure that you're not cutting off the M or the dots. It does fit in there perfectly. So let's go ahead and trim out these words, and those are the things that are going to go on in the very beginning. And we trimmed it out so all those little tan flowers are off.
Tracy said, emery is an abrasive mineral that is adhered to cardboard.
Wow, okay, that kind of makes sense. I never heard of emery the mineral, but you think that's fake news or what?
Well, Tracy Blakesley says that's why.
Thank you, Tracy. Okay, Tracy said that emery is a mineral that is glued to a board. Is that what you said?
Cardboard.
That makes a lot of sense. Now I feel much wiser knowing what an emery board, why they've named it that. Okay, so now that we've trimmed those out, and as you can see, you're going to either use your trimmer or your scissors, but it needs to be the same width as your yellow paper. So I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to be brave and just cut it right there. Okay, there's. Turn it around. You want it to be 11 inches long. And that's the first thing you're going to put on, and it's about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom of the yellow. And again, this one is one that you could chalk up a little bit. I'm going to, just so you can see what it looks like. I'll do the ends just a little, and just really a tiny bit. You don't want a ton on this because there's not a lot of room. You don't want to use up all your white space, but just a little bit on the edges. And just to keep in mind that using these inks on paper edges, which are sharp, and it really is hard on your ink pad, but that's why we try to keep them a reasonable price so that you can replace it, because eventually you are going to wear out that ink pad. They're not like inks that you're going to just put your rubber stamp in and that's the size of it. This, oh my gosh, I hear a train again.
Train.
So this goes on about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom of your yellow paper, or let's say an inch up from the bottom of your pink paper. Okay, who's the lucky winner? Melody Rollins, you are a train prize winner. Congratulations. We'll get you a prize out. And it's another one that is just really noisy, so give me a second and I'll...
Why do they sound extra loud today?
I don't know. Because it's dill pickle holiday, dill pickle day. Does everybody know that it's celebrate dill pickle day? I really meant to bring some to work and I forgot. So there's your first one. May the days come easy and the moments slow. The other one will go on page 2, but we're just going to do page 1 for the moment. And here is where it gets a little tedious. It's up to you, but if you want to, we're going to put on a blue strip next. A little 1/4 inch blue strip goes here. If you want to chalk up the edges, you can. And again, if you are actually going to do that, it really does look pretty. It's just tiny to deal with. I would put it on the edge of something and just go down the line really quickly with your ink pad. And you turn it around, get your other edge. So if you're going to chalk up those edges of those tiny little skinny strips, it is a little harder, but if you put it on the edge of something, it gives you some stability and it makes inking go a lot faster. So the next piece up from May the Days Come Easy is a 1/4 inch by 11 inch blue strip.
So the way that it looked, so this is the actual box that she put it on the edge of.
Oh, you can't see it
When
on
it was
there?
flat like this, it looks like you're going right across your page, but it's an actual box, so it lifts it up and then you use the edge of the box.
Okay, it's actually something our vellum comes in, and it's just a nice sharp edge on the edge of the box. I'm glad you said that because I didn't know.
It just looked like you were going across your page.
I've been known to do that too. Okay, so there's your blue piece. Then the one after that is your 1 inch stripes. Looks like this. This is now everybody's stripes is going to probably look a little bit different because it comes from the same piece of paper and there's lots of stripes on it. But I'm thinking that maybe let's try the brown jasper on that just for fun, just so you can see what it looks like. Oh, that's a nice subtle color. So that's what brown jasper will look like if you use it. I'm going to use a different one too. I'm going to use the turquoise just so you can see what that looks like. And again, on that box edge, this would work so much quicker. And I'm going to try the sapphire on the other side just so you can see what that looks like.
It's still the same train.
Still the same train. Okay, here's sapphire. It's a nice dark blue. So there's lots of choices. Citrine would also be really nice on this. Desert Sun would work really well on this. Can't remember some. Sunset would be pretty. That's got a little bit of orange in it, but that would be pretty. Okay, this one's going on next. The next one is green, 1/4 inch by 11. Goes on here. And pink, 1/4 inch by 11. And then blue dot, which we cut from the cutting diagram in the beginning. So you have May the Days Come Easy, that goes on first, a 1/2 inch up from your yellow dot, your blue 1/4 inch strip, your 1 inch striped strip, 1/4 inch green, 1/4 inch pink, and 1/2 inch dot. And that's all we're going to do for page 1 for the moment, because everything else, and this is a finished page right here, everything else is flowers. We're going to add those at the end. We'll move on to page 2. What time do we have right now?
2:43.
2:43. So we'll start the next class right at 3. So I'm just going to get you started on page 2 because it's very similar to page 1. Again, you're going to add these strips. You have 2 photo mats. And one of your photo mats looks like this, okay, with the hole in the middle. But once you put your pieces that you cut out in the beginning, so you can use either side if you just want the plain blue, looks like that, or your dots, and then this will cover up your hole. You'll never know it has a hole in it. And then you'll cut out Soul Full of Sunshine. You'll lay up your flowers, and I will say though that if flowers are so much fun to make when you add some color to them and layer them up a little bit. I'm going to punch out just 2 so that you can see what that looks like, and I'm going to use the sapphire on this just for fun. It'll be nice and dark, but you just gently hold your flower in your hand and just start with each petal and go in as far as you want, or just do the very edges of the petals. But as you go around, you can notice that it gets in those little cracks and crevices all by itself. These Powder Puff chalk inks do have little tails on it. It helps to get in cracks and crevices, but this is what I do a lot of the times. If you just keep working at it, it just automatically goes right into those little cracks. And so there's, you have one, chalk up a smaller one, that's going to go right on top of it. This. And then you have a strip of pearls that go in the center. So see what that looks like? Okay, I think we'll give them a few minutes to finish working on this, and then we'll start right again at 3 o'clock. Am I right, Stace?
Yeah. So they'll have 15 minutes to kind of finish up,
Yeah.
and then we'll start.
Yeah, so go ahead and get page 2. You probably can finish it in that amount of time. And we will start again. See you back at 3 o'clock sharp.
Just refresh your page. We'll be back at 3. If you don't see us, just refresh it again because we'll be right back on at exactly 3 o'clock.